I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
For every Hollywood success story, there's a cautionary tale that sends shockwaves through the industry. And right now, Rachel Zgler is at the center of a controversy so intense that some are calling it the biggest fiasco Disney has faced in years. A private group chat leaked, fans felt betrayed, and suddenly the House of Mouse was scrambling to contain the fallout. But what really happened behind those closed doors? How did a promising star go from Cinderella's story to public enemy #1 in record time? The details might shock you. Some say it started with a few blurry screenshots that surfaced on social media, allegedly featuring Rachel mocking the very fans who put her on the map. Others claim there's a personal vendetta at play, a friend turned foe in the shadows, ready to betray her. Whatever the truth, the result is undeniable. Fans are furious. Disney is in damage control mode, and an entire film, Snow White, now stands as a cautionary reminder that when you bite the hand that feeds you, the consequences can be brutal. But that's only the beginning. What Rachel did next, or rather didn't do, set off a whole new avalanche of speculation. No statements, no apologies, just pure silence. In Hollywood, that silence speaks volumes. So buckle up because we're diving deep into the details of this meltdown. From the leaked messages to the backlash, from the alleged betrayal inside her own circle to the rumored shakeup at Disney. And by the end, you'll see why this scandal is about more than just one actress. It's a harsh lesson in how fast fortunes can flip when the internet is out for blood. The entire scandal kicked off with a series of screenshots that some people assumed had to be fake. They were that inflammatory. In these images, Rachel Zgler, lauded just a couple of years ago as a fresh, wholesome talent, appeared to be trashing Disney diehards as obsessed, low IQ, and in dire need of therapy. The context seemed casual, a private group chat among friends, an after-hours safe space where celebs vent about the things that bug them. But one snippet in particular caused an uproar. Rachel allegedly calling fan events cringe and a waste of time. At first, the internet wasn't sure what to believe. Could this be a deep fake? A malicious rumor? Then tech-savvy fans began analyzing the screenshots. The writing style, the emojis, the handle, it all lined up a little too well with Rachel's known presence online. A wave of panic swept through social media. Disney's rising star might have just insulted the very people who championed her. Not surprisingly, the conversation soon escalated to more explosive details. Comments about sweaty dads in dwarf costumes, jokes about smiling for the cameras being worse than eating glass. Fans scoured the text, searching for any hint of sarcasm or missing context that could exonerate her. It never appeared. But that wasn't the whole story. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag replace Rachel and hashtag not my Snow White began trending on X. On TikTok, users piled on with reaction videos, memes, and spoofs dramatizing the chat messages. Some took them literally, others twisted them into comedic shorts, but the effect was universal: outrage. Disney adults, some of the most dedicated supporters any franchise could hope for, felt particularly betrayed. These are the people who visit the parks multiple times a year, buy the merch, dress up for premieres, and spread the word online. If your movie bombs with them, the rest of the mainstream audience usually follows suit. Overnight, the leak turned them from supportive fans into an angry, vocal group demanding recasts and refunds. Even more shocking was the speed of it all. One day, Rachel was a top trending celeb with a promising career. The next day, her name was plastered across social media in the worst possible context. For these fans, it wasn't just a personal attack. They saw it as a betrayal of the Disney magic they cherished since childhood. And that turned out to be only half the story. In the face of an online inferno, you'd think the first move would be an official statement, right? Maybe a heartfelt apology or a public explanation. But from Rachel, there was nothing. Hours turned into days, and days turned into a full week of dead air. No tweet, no Instagram story, no rep statement, just the digital equivalent of a disappearing act. Speculation grew louder. Some assumed she was consulting with lawyers, or that Disney's legal team was desperately drafting a careful PR apology. Others thought maybe she was digging in her heels, refusing to bow to the mob. Or perhaps it was a shrewd tactic. If she simply waited long enough, some other scandal might eclipse hers. But the more time passed, the more people saw her silence as confirmation that the screenshots were real. That's when insiders started talking. A close acquaintance hinted that Rachel felt deeply blindsided by the leak and believed the scandal was orchestrated by someone she once trusted. Another rumor suggested she was under a strict gag order from Disney. Either way, fans were left in limbo, their anger simmering with each day they heard nothing. But someone else was ready to talk, and they didn't hold back. Behind every Hollywood scandal, there's always at least one whispering source. In this case, an alleged ex-PR assistant came forward, claiming they were part of the group chat. According to them, Rachel's behavior had been condescending for months. The final straw was some personal conflict where Rachel belittled them publicly, leading to a watch this moment of pure revenge. If that sounds dramatic, it's because it is. Hollywood is no stranger to sabotage, but rarely does it happen so brazenly. The assistant purportedly screen recorded everything. The insults toward fans, the meltdown over wearing a puffy Disney dress for 18 hours on set, the casual references to how Disney adult fans scare me more than actual criminals. The original source insisted they weren't the only one disgusted by the comments, claiming multiple people had parted ways with Rachel due to similar run-ins. Naturally, these claims remain unverified, but the idea that a close associate might be behind the leak electrified the internet. People scrambled to piece together who might have the biggest motive. The speculation fueled a wave of conspiracy theories. Was Disney itself quietly pushing the assistant to leak the messages so they could justify a recast? Was a competitor actress behind it? The truth got murkier, not clearer. That's when the real meltdown started. On top of the chat fiasco, Disney's Snow White remake was already under siege from a disgruntled fan base. Early interviews showed Rachel slamming the 1937 original as outdated and weird. She claimed the Snow White didn't dream of love or romance, but wanted power, independence, and authority. To some viewers, that sounded fresh, until the tone in her interviews came across as dismissive, even mocking. Then came the rumored reshoots. Insiders said Disney panicked after early test screenings and spent millions trying to salvage the movie's tone. Meanwhile, the original dwarfs were replaced with CGI magical creatures, another major point of fan outrage. People started calling it Snow Woke, accusing Disney of caring more about modern buzzwords than preserving the story's charm. The controversies piled up. Rachel's old remarks about how she didn't need your business if you disagreed with her opinions resurfaced, fueling even more resentment. By the time the group chat leak dropped, fans were primed to believe anything negative about the actress, and they got plenty of it. Online, the questions started popping up. Is it possible for one star to sink a film single-handedly? But the fallout went beyond just one movie. Section 6. Career self-destruction? Suddenly, there were rumors Rachel was losing out on future roles. A major rumor: she was quietly removed from consideration for an upcoming Disney sequel. Another chatter: studios worried that signing her would alienate fan bases, especially if she had a track record of insulting them. In Hollywood, box office numbers rule all, and Rachel had just attached her name to a potential monumental flop. Industry analysts began to question Disney's entire approach. The endless remakes, the modern reworkings of classic fairy tales, and the marketing that seemed to talk down to longtime fans. If Snow White could turn into such a public relations disaster, maybe the formula was broken. Meanwhile, certain insiders tried to do damage control. A popular voice actor from an older Disney film posted on social media about the importance of fans, lamenting that no one is bigger than the audience. The post, while not naming names, seemed obviously aimed at Rachel. Even theme park TikTokers, usually the most cheerful, brand-safe voices, started joking about skipping the Snow White premiere. And the whispers of an intentional sabotage were just getting started. Amid the chaos, the internet brewed conspiracy theories. Some believe Disney orchestrated the entire fiasco to scapegoat Rachel and shift blame for the film's misstep. Others claimed rival studios or personal enemies within Disney had set her up. After all, the leaked group chat was so perfect at riling fans, almost too perfect to be an accident. Tech experts weighed in, stating that the messages looked real, not deep-faked, and that forging them would require an elaborate, highly detailed effort. Meanwhile, rumors swirled about a former assistant with a secret vendetta. Some thought the timing was suspicious. The chat leaked mere weeks after a rumored clash between Rachel and certain Disney executives over her social media posts. Then came talk of NDAs being threatened, hush money deals failing, and a chain reaction that left everyone scrambling to save face. In the midst of this swirling chaos, Disney found itself in a precarious position. If the studio defended Rachel, the fans revolted. If they dropped her, it looked like they were caving to internet mobs. So far, they've chosen silence, but silence might only fan the flames further. The final blow, however, came from unexpected places. When people say Hollywood is a dream factory, they often forget how quickly those dreams can turn into nightmares. For Rachel Zgler, the leaks, the backlash, and the disastrous showing of Snow White could be the perfect storm that defines her career for years to come. One moment, she was a rising star, heralded as the next big thing, a beacon of modern, outspoken energy in the House of Mouse. The next moment, she's at the epicenter of a scandal so damaging, some insiders wonder if she'll ever fully recover. What does this fiasco tell us? It's a stark reminder of the power fans hold in the digital age. Studios can spend millions on marketing, but if the audience feels mocked or belittled, all that money goes down the drain. It also exposes the razor-thin line between confidence and arrogance, especially when social media magnifies every offhand comment. And maybe there's a broader lesson for Hollywood. Tampering too aggressively with beloved classics can backfire, particularly if you alienate the generation that grew up cherishing them. But perhaps the most haunting lesson of all is how a single leak, a few screenshots or group chat messages, can derail an entire production and potentially a career. The internet thrives on outrage, and once the beast is unleashed, it's nearly impossible to control. Whether Rachel is truly the villain of this story or just another Hollywood casualty swept up in a swirl of rumors is something viewers will continue debating. But one thing's for sure, from diehard fans to corporate executives, nobody who witnessed this scandal will forget it anytime soon. In the end, Hollywood is a realm of stories. Some end with a happily ever after, and others, well, they end like this. Let's just say if you want to keep the magic alive, it might be best to stay away from group chats and never, ever underestimate the fans.